Hello everyone. Just in case you missed my presentation on the first day of research, or if you need a refresher, here is a video just going over some of the basics for this research assignment. So to start off, I suggest using Gale databases. This is where you're going to find a lot of useful information. So go ahead onto your links page and click on the Gale database link. Once you're in here, you can either do Gale in Context High School, or you could do Gale in Context World History. I usually stick with the Gale in Context High School, but just in case you do have a second option in here. When you are in this specific database, you can go ahead and click your search term at the top. I usually go with the major topic of Elizabethan Era. And it does come up as a main topic. Once you're in here, this will break down your research going with on this page. You might have some featured content, some reference sources. That's usually where I start off with to get that nice brief overview of the information without getting too technical. It goes into some biographies of famous people during that time, some primary sources. You don't necessarily need images, but for other projects you might. And then audio, video, magazines, news, and it continues down. This is a lot of information to sort through. So I suggest using this bar that says search within the results to search for your specific topic. So I'm going to go with fashion during the Elizabethan era, and I will hit search. This breaks it down to fewer, so now I only have a couple things in each topic instead of hundreds. So again, I usually start with the reference first, and then I see what other information I might need. So in here, you're going to find the title of the article, where it was originally coming from, and then some information about how many words, what type of source it is, and how hard it might be to read. 4 is pretty standard for high school. You might also see some 5s and then potentially some 3s. So I will go with the clothing in Shakespeare's time. And I can scan through this article. If I decide that I like it, I can start doing my highlights and deciding that this is something I want to remember, so I want to highlight it. Can pick a color for whatever my specific subtopic might be if I wanted to. I can take a note so I can remember that this might be important. And then I want to make sure I hit save. I can do that for the entire article. If you don't want to do that right away, you can always wait till later when you're ready to start taking notes. You can save it to Google Drive by hitting that send to Google Drive. For me, it's going to ask which account I want to use, and then it'll go to my Google Drive shortly. When I decide this is something that I want to do, notice how I have my Noodle tools open at the top. I'm going to hit that Cite button. I'm going to make sure that MLA is listed, that the citation appears in here, and then I'm going to click this Export to Noodle Tools. Gives you that nice icon to show you which one you're going with. Again, just double check that the citation is listed at the top, and then you're going to make sure that the project is the one you're working on right now, and you'll hit Import References. I go back to Noodle Tools, I go to my sources page, and that source should now be in there. So that way I can go back and see it later. It will come up as a book. This is a database. This will not count as one of your book sources. It's just the way it comes up through the Gale databases. If I decide I need to go back and look at it later because I didn't save it to my Google Drive, you can click that View Live Web page, and it takes you right back to the source. You can also print it and save it for later so that you can highlight and take notes at your own pace when it comes to that part of the project. You can also have it read it to you. If you do that, just make sure you are using headphones so you're not disturbing anyone else in the library or in the classroom. You can change the font size and you can translate it if you need to another language. That is Gale. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. Other potential sources are going to be ABC Clio. This is specific to history. So in here, again, you're going to use your search bar. This time around, instead of narrowing down your searches with after you do your first search, you have to use a Boolean operator. And that means you have to do in all caps and. This really works well for if you're doing food or drinks. It narrows down the information. And this would be good for any of the topics. So again, I'll stick with fashion for now. And you can select specific databases within ABC Clio if you want to, just like Gail had. You can usually stick with the daily life through history or the world history modern era. I usually just click the search button and then see what sections come up. So I picked the one that has the most just to see what it has, so the daily life through history. And then again, I can get an idea of what type of information is in here. So theater, eye decoration, face decoration gives me what type of source it is, and then it gives me the first sentence or so of the article. So I'm going to go with face decoration. And it'll highlight exactly where your search term is in the article. So if you're not quite sure, that'll give you some hints. When you decide you want to cite this one doesn't have that nice cite option to Noodle Tools. It only has EasyBib or RefWorks, which we are not using. It does give you an example, but just in case something might be wrong in there, I do suggest doing this manually. So what you would do is go back to your Noodle Tools, click that New Source button. This is going to be a database, and it's actually going to be original content in database. So the name of the database is the specific one you are looking at. So this one is going to be the Daily Life Through History. And it should come up as you're typing. The publisher is ABC Clio, so that's the big umbrella company. And double check how it is written if you need to. So ABC Clio is in all caps with a dash in between. And if it has the date of the publication written, you can put that in there. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. You do need the URL. So in this case, I do suggest copying the one that is in the example, because that will be what we call a permalink or a permanent link that will always take you back to that site. Then for the most recent date of access, instead of doing the drop down, you can just click today, and that will fill in the boxes for you. So as far as the specific person goes, again, you can grab that information from here if you want to. It will also be listed at the bottom of the article. And it looks like those are the only spots that at least the author's name is listed. So I usually just do a Command C for copy and then Command V for paste in the different boxes in here. And that would be the drop-down author for the contributor. And then the article title is just whatever appears at the top. So that's going to be the face decoration. And it looks like the publication year they have listed is the 2020. So this has been very recently updated. So you can put that in there. And then double check that the information is correct and you have everything you need. And then you can click that Save button. So then it comes through. And if something went wrong or if I need to adjust something, I can go to that Options Edit. If you do the manual or the copy and paste a citation, it doesn't let you do that. It doesn't plug in the information in the right spots, or it doesn't plug in the information at all. You just get the box again when you need to adjust it. So that just helps you to make sure you're putting things into the right spot. You can also go to EBSCOhost, which is the one with that blue and green circle. For this one, you'll do the high school search for Power Library. And you can do an advanced search for your topic. So that does the Boolean operators for you. So Elizabethan Era and Fashion. And then I'll hit search. So right now this only gives me one option. So it might not be the best place to start with, but it just depends on your topic. Over here, it will tell you what type of source it was originally, so that will help you when you're citing your information. These won't be original information from the database, like ABC Clio was. If you have any further questions, please come see me or your teacher, and we will be glad to help. Good luck on your research.